Flames free agency rumors are escalating as Toronto Maple Leafs superstar Mitch Marner has been linked to Calgary. With Marner set to hit free agency, the Flames have a bunch of cap space, and pundits and fans alike are speculating that the Flames could pursue Marner hard, but opinions are mixed on if Conroy should put all of his eggs in the Marner basket. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and Leafs Digest ain't gonna like this one because we might be taking Marner. But let's get into a little bit of Marner to Calgary. And at first glance, I mean, you're always gonna want to take a great player for your team, of course, but with the price tag, the questions about playoff performance, a lot of fans around the league, not just of the Flames, but of the other 31 teams that aren't the Toronto Maple Leafs, a lot of fans are saying, I'm not sure if I want this Marner guy kicking around, little Mitchie. But let's get into it, and we'll start with a little article here from Caleb Kearney from the Hockey News, and he writes, Flames would be much better with Mitch Marner. And I would be pressed to believe that most Flames would be much better with Mitch Marner. A lot of people aren't on the Marner wagon. They think, he's not a great playoff performer. He doesn't have enough size. Does he score enough goals? That kind of thing. Personally, for me, I think Mitch Marner is a really good player. And sure, maybe the Leafs should be a little bit better with the core that they have, including Marner. But, I mean, that's a whole other question there. But let's get into the article. Flames would be much better with Mitch Marner. So you need at least one superstar. It's reasonable to argue that the Calgary Flames don't have any. Jonathan Huberdeau has significantly struggled to reach his previous heights, and Nazem Kadri is elite, but he's not a superstar. Brackets yet. That's a little bit funny because, I mean, come on, he's not getting any younger. But either way, it is true. When you think of superstars in the league, you think of guys like McKinnon, McDavid, Kucherov, Makar, people like that. The Flames don't really have one. The Florida Panthers have several and just won the Stanley Cup last year. Alexander Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk would certainly fit the bill, both in performance and demeanor. And they also have some really other good players. You think of guys like Reinhart. You think of guys on the back end as well for them. So it is true. You kind of need superstars to be a successful team. Does having superstars equate to success? I mean, look at the Leafs. The Oilers haven't won a cup yet with their core, and hopefully they don't. But it is true. You kind of need superstars. So Mitch Marner is set for free agency. So signs are pointing towards Toronto Maple Leaf superstar Mitch Marner at least testing out free agency to see what's out there. This writer can think of 31 organizations that would be over the moon to have a player of Marner's caliber on their roster, and it just is true. Chris Johnston of The Athletic, or of Sportsnet, or whatever you want to equate him to, reported that there is a growing sense that Marner would like a fresh start with a different team next season. It's kind of funny too, because Leafs Nation, they could kind of want Marner on the outs. I think more than 50% of them right now want him gone from the franchise. So it is interesting overall that maybe Marner would want a fresh start as well. Would the Leafs want to move on from him? Overall, it is interesting, but let's focus on the Flames. So Mitch Marner would make the Calgary Flames a better team. Marner would be a massive addition for the Flames. He's been over a point per game player since his third season in the NHL, which is quite a while ago now. In the 2024-25 season, he recorded 102 points while averaging 21 minutes and 19 seconds of ice time in 81 games. Marner has also enjoyed a good playoff run. He has 12 points in 11 games before Friday night's Game 6 against the Panthers. And it's kind of funny because overall, when it comes to the playoffs, he does have almost a point per game for his playoff career, whereas the Leafs only have 2 series wins kind of thing. And sure, he's over a point per game in this playoffs. He's been good, but he's such a games 1 through 4 merchant that he's kind of the scapegoat when it comes to games 5, 6, 7. Obviously, this playoff run, you can argue Matthews as well. He really just must not be healthy because he has no offensive presence. But it is true. Marner's a really good player, but he gets that label of regular season guy. If he joined the Flames, he would be reunited with former teammate Nazem Kadri. True. A top line of Kadri, Marner, and Huberdeau could emerge. That would be an incredibly deadly combination for the Flames. Imagine Matt Coronato on a line with Marner, more so than some of these other guys. Imagine Coronato, Kadri, and Marner as a line. That sounds absolutely delicious to me, but obviously that's me dreaming. The Flames currently have $17 million in cap space. That's before the increase that's scheduled for next season and all of the money coming off of the books in the offseason. They certainly have the place to make this move. Will Marner want to come to the Flames to be reunited with a former teammate? Only time will tell, and we'll have to see if the Flames are one of the teams that really do go after Marner, and of course, if Marner would want to do it, because the Flames do have the space for now, but keep in mind, the Flames do have to pay players down the line like Dustin Wolf, Zane Parekh, and more. So interestingly enough here, a little graphic from M. Bond Hockey, so Mike Bartner here. He writes that the teams with the most cap space in 2025, the Flames are there in 8th at 27.79 mil, not the 19 or whatever we just saw there. So actually the Flames have loads of cap space incoming, do have to sign a few players this offseason, but could still afford Marner for now, but I just don't think for the future. It's kind of funny that the Leafs are the team right under, obviously losing the contracts of Marner and Tavares, but it'll overall be very interesting. If you have no idea who Mitch Marner is, I don't know how you know hockey, but nevertheless, let's take a look at his stats. Not Artemi Panarin from yesterday, a little flash of him. But no, Mitch Marner, so in 81 games this year, he had 27 goals, 75 assists for 102 points. Not bad at all. Kind of, Huberdeau in Florida numbers, if you will. Plus 18, as we saw, almost 21 and a half minutes per game, 6 foot. He's still just 28 years old. A pretty good shooting percentage. A Corsi for percentage above 50 is always good. So he really is a good player, impactful. And the stats that we don't have here on the graphic are just, he has such a good defensive presence as well. He kills penalties, usually can get the puck out pretty nicely, but don't ask a Leafs fan about game 5 there. But either way, overall, we do know that he is a very good player, even though he gets labeled, a choker, a bad playoff performer, too small, doesn't have enough aggression, blah, 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 blah. Overall, you know what? He is a good player. But let's see what people are saying. Not just, your pundits and whoever else, but what are some of the fans saying about it? So one account here, which I thought was very interesting, that it's New World Oilers, an Oilers account is talking about this, but they say, here are the teams that I've heard, who's your source, that are ready to go all in on Mitch Marner on July 1st, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Pittsburgh Penguins, Los Angeles Kings, Carolina Hurricanes, and the Calgary Flames. Now, the Flames, of course, that's the team we care about. If there truly are 5 teams going all in, the Flames could be in there. They have a lot of cap space, as do some of these other teams, but it's overall very interesting. I could actually see Marner fitting in really well with the Los Angeles Kings. Same with the Hurricanes if they can afford him, but the Hurricanes seem like they got to pay a lot of people. But either way, overall, apparently the Flames are going to go all in. I mean, take that with a grain of salt, obviously coming from an Oilers account, but the Flames could be all in on Lil Mitchie here. Also, another account here, so Marshall, they're saying, I'd like to see Calgary go after Marner. He could produce at a high level for his entire contract that will take him to 35 or 36. To play devil's advocate, you could say that about any team he goes for, but it seems like, this guy would really like to see Calgary go after Marner and would like to see Marner in a Flame sweater. And you know what? It could happen. It's not like Marner isn't acclimated to playing in Canada, and he's Canadian himself. So there's not really that issue of an American wanting to go elsewhere. So who knows? It could happen. Another one is Adam here at Tkachuk U says, Marner will prosper as a Calgary Flame. I feel it in my gut. And you'd certainly hope so if the Flames were obviously to go for Marner, and more importantly, if Marner were to go to Calgary. Again, I don't know how much money I'd want to shell out for Marner. The contract is the big thing for me. Of course, I want Marner on the Flames, but it really does come down to what the contract looks like, because I would rather pay guys like Dustin Wolf and Zane Parekh. But again, that's just me. It's better to get an actual bona fide superstar. But again, I don't know. I just believe in some of our youngsters. To get a different perspective than what some of these other people are saying is a couple here. So H.E. Pennypacker says, does anyone think Marner would seriously consider Calgary as a landing spot? And this is true, not only because of the geography. I mean, Calgary is a beautiful city, maybe not in the winter as much, but also just in terms of where they're at in their window of contention. I'd like to think Calgary is on the way up. We have a lot of good youngsters, but it is true. He's been playing for a contender for a while now, a contender, and maybe he'd want to go to a team that has a better shot at the cup, as he's really not getting any younger, as we saw at 28 now. But it is true. That is a good question to ask. Also, Shaggy here says, Marner is garbage in the playoffs. Calgary needs winners, and Marner is not. And that is a very harsh take, but it's a very popular take. So I wanted to include that as well. I'm assuming the comments of this video are either just going to be people totally on one side or the other. Yes, get Marner, or no, Marner absolutely sucks. And if Leafs fans end up flooding the comments as well, I'm sure it'll be kind of a bit of the same thing too. More of like, why would he ever want to go to Calgary? If he doesn't want to be in Toronto, why would he go to Calgary? Or, hey, Marner's really good. You'd be lucky to get him. But we'll just have to wait and see what the comment section holds. And speaking of the comment section, let's get into the comment of the day. It comes from yesterday's video about some of those potential trade targets for the Flames. And we have another trade proposal here that'll be interesting to look at. Let me make that a little bigger here for us. There we go. So awesome YouTuber, great username there, said, I found a good trade. Wild received Dan Vladar, Anthony Mantha, and a 2025, and a second-round pick, and Joel Hanley. So what's interesting here is Vladar is obviously a UFA, Mantha's a UFA, Hanley's a UFA, I believe. So really, it's just the second-round pick, unless we sign those guys first. But overall, we'll get into it to a second. So Flames would receive Marco Rossi and Yakov Trenin. So why would they do this? Well, Fleury just retired, so the Wild will need a new backup, and Dan Vladar will help. The Flames need a young center like Marco Rossi. Yes, we've seen that over many videos in not too far back. Also, Yakov Trenin is 28 years old. He's younger than Hanley, has lots of physicality, and could play on the third line. So I think it's more the free agency is the problem, as some of these guys won't have contracts come July 1st. So the Wild could just kind of sign them. But it is an interesting proposal overall. I think it would have done better maybe at the trade deadline kind of thing. But it is an interesting one overall, and you never know what could happen in those crazy Julys that the NHL always sees. So I do appreciate you providing us with that trade proposal. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.